Hello there, my fellow Marvel fans. How are you doing? How's everyone doing today? So today we are doing a live spoiler discussion for the Fantastic Four First Steps. Let me know in the chat how the audio is, how my audio is, how the music is, if I should lower anything, make anything louder. But we're going to go kind of how we usually do. So I'll talk about my thoughts on the movie for the first maybe 10-15 minutes, what I like, what I don't like. And then after that, I'll go to the live chat and continue talking to you guys until people aren't chatting anymore. Obviously, full spoilers for the Fantastic Four First Steps in this live stream. If you have not seen the movie, and if you care about spoilers, this stream, not for you. But if you either have seen the movie or if you don't really care about spoilers, then stick around and hang out along with us. What's going on, Box Office Nerd? Welcome to the stream. As I have you here, thank you for tuning in. Oh, let me actually add the chat to the stream. Where is it? And also make sure to vote on the poll if you haven't already. There you go, Box Office. Whoop, it should show up. There you go. There you go. Thanks for tuning in, Box Office Nerd. Welcome. Nice to have you here. If you haven't already, also vote on the poll what you thought of Fantastic Four First Steps. There's only maximum of 4 options for YouTube polls. Obviously, opinions are a little more gray than just good or bad, right? But the 4 options being amazing, good, meh, and bad. With 3 votes, currently good is in the lead with 67% of the votes and 33% of the votes for amazing, 0 votes for meh and bad. So it seems like so far you guys are really enjoying this movie. And going right into my thoughts to get them out of the way before we talk to chat, so did I. I also really liked this movie. I thought it was a really good time. I thought... Let me try to go through and sort of organize my thoughts a little bit, kind of what about the movie I liked. First thing, let's talk about the cast. I really liked the cast. I think the casting was really well done. I think Pedro Pascal... I was never against the Pedro Pascal as Reed casting. I kind of honestly rolled my eyes at the distaste for it, I guess, if that's the right word. It seemed like a lot of the people who were saying it wasn't going to be good either, 1, hadn't seen Pedro Pascal's line of work, 2, just hated on it for the sake that it was Pedro Pascal, and for some reason these days, people hate things or people that are popular just because they're popular, even if they're actual good castings or decisions or whatnot. And 3, they didn't like him because he had a mustache. I'm not even kidding. That's a legit criticism I saw. So though I kind of always roll my eyes at the distaste for that. What's going on, Enzo? Thanks for tuning in. Nice to have you here. I do have thoughts for your chat that I'll talk about once I get my thoughts on the movie. Yeah, I always kind of roll my eyes at that. I think he did a great job. I think from this movie alone, right? From this script alone, this could change in the sequels and other appearances in Doomsday and Secret Wars and whatnot, but I actually think Pedro Pascal is the most well-cast of all 4 of them. For me, it goes Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, and then Joseph Quinn. Vanessa Kirby, let's get to her next. I thought she was also really wonderful. Vanessa Kirby she's such a good actress. More than good. Good understates her talent. Same with Pedro Pascal. I mean, this whole cast is more than good as actors, and in this movie as well. But Vanessa Kirby, it's such a... What's the word? It's such a joy, I guess, or such a pleasure and honor. I don't know what the proper term would be, but I'll say pleasure, an honor, to have her in the MCU. You know, Pedro Pascal, he is a nerd, right? He's in Star Wars, he's in Game of Thrones, like, he was in Wonder Woman. You know, he's been in these kind of big franchises before. Vanessa Kirby, I mean, she was in Mission Impossible, she was in Hobbs and Shaw, but I would argue that the MCU superhero movies are a different breed of franchise than those. So to have someone like her in here, in the MCU, and going to be in the MCU for a very long time as Sue Storm, I thought was absolutely wonderful. It is absolutely wonderful, and she did such a phenomenal job in this movie. I'm recently becoming a really big Sue Storm fan, purely because she's one of my mains in Marvel Rivals. So I was really looking forward to Sue Storm in this. And I rewatched the 3 other Fantastic Four movies in the past week leading up to seeing First Steps. And it genuinely upset me how Sue Storm was portrayed in all 3 of those movies. It's not Jessica Alba's fault. It's not Kate Mara's fault. I think Sue Storm is, in all 3 movies, has barely anything to do. And in the original ones, where Jessica Alba plays her, she is so overtly and overly sexualized. It really upset me. And in this movie, it pretty much rectifies everything that I disliked about the previous portrayals of Sue Storm. She has a lot of urgency and a lot of importance in the movie. She's not just there for eye candy. She's not sexualized one bit. She's an actual character, and arguably the most powerful character of the team, at least shown in the movie. And I love that. I love that. Ebon Moss-Bachrach as the Thing, I think a really great cast. I understand why some people would rather the voice be a little more, for lack of a better term, rocky, gravelly. In the original Fantastic Four movies, Michael Chiklis' voice is slightly more rocky and gravelly when he's the Thing, and it works. It works well. It doesn't not work. Like, just hearing Eben's voice, Ben Grimm's voice through the Thing, it doesn't take me out of it, right? But I understand why people would want a little more rockiness to it. What's up, Terrell? Nice to have you in here. Thanks for tuning in, man. Welcome. But it worked really well for me. I think the biggest thing with him, and this is something a lot of people have brought up, is that he just doesn't have a lot to do. He doesn't do a lot in this movie. That's not a good or bad thing for me. He's kind of the member of the team that I am attached to the least. So I don't have any strong opinions one way or the other. But I do agree in the fact that he doesn't really have that much to do. And I would like to see more Ben Grimm in the future. Now let's get to Johnny Storm, right? Joseph Quinn, I like a lot. I love him as Eddie in Stranger Things. I thought he was really good in the Quiet Place movie, Day One. And he's really good in this. Johnny Storm is my favorite Fantastic Four member. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters. And Chris Evans as Johnny Storm in the original movies is one of my favorite portrayals of a Marvel character in live action. So there are big shoes to fill. And going into this movie, I did not expect Joseph Quinn to match that height for me of Chris Evans' Human Torch. And he didn't. But that's okay. Doesn't have to be. In fact, Vanessa Kirby aside, I think Vanessa Kirby, casting-wise, is the best Sue Storm. But that aside, I do like the original cast more. The Jan Gruffin as Reed Richards, Michael Chiklis as the Thing, and Chris Evans as Human Torch. I like them more than I do Pedro Pascal, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, and Joseph Quinn in these roles. That doesn't mean that I dislike Pedro Pascal, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, or Joseph Quinn in these roles at all. Those things are very different. I do very much like this casting, and I'm excited to see more of them. However, with the reason why I put Johnny last in the ranking of how well they were cast, or at least, I don't want to say how well they were cast, how well they were portrayed in the movie and acted in the movie. There were a couple moments that I feel like Joseph Quinn was a little stiff as Johnny, and I feel like those moments, if he just let out more of Eddie from Stranger Things, it would have been great. There were just a couple moments where he was stiff. There's also some controversy and discussion and debate around just how Johnny Storm was written in this movie, how he's more of this nerdy, smarty, not, intelligent, Reed Richards level intelligent, but, a little more smart. Like, he's the one that deciphers the language, right, of Silver Surfer and everything. There's debate around that. I actually didn't mind it. I was nervous going into this movie about Johnny Storm because they had said in interviews how they were sort of modernizing him, and I was scared for that. I was nervous about that. But I actually didn't mind it at all. I thought it worked quite well. I mean, let me know in the comments, guys, if you know in the comics if Johnny Storm is not supposed to be smart like he is in the movie, but I actually kind of appreciated it because as long as the personality is there and that dynamic between him and the rest of the team is there, that's all that matters for me with Johnny, and it was. It was, like I said, albeit some moments of stiffness I felt, but other than that, like, he had his dynamic with Reed, his dynamic with Ben, his dynamic with Sue, and I appreciated that. It worked for me. What's going on, Thomas Bennett? I said everything's tuning in. But yeah, overall, I thought it was cast really well. The main four were so good in their roles, and I'm really excited for them to see them in Doomsday and Secret Wars and future movies. I hope they stick around for a while because there's a lot to be good. There's a lot to love about this cast. Galactus, Ralph Ineson, perfect, absolutely perfect. That voice for Galactus was amazing. He felt menacing. He felt booming. I mean, the bar for Galactus is so low, right? With the Cloud, the bar for Galactus is so low. Anything that they did that was remotely comic accurate was going to be better, but this was... I loved how Galactus was portrayed in this movie. And I'll touch on this more when I talk about the actual plot and the story, but I know some people are kind of upset at how he was defeated. I'm not. I'm perfectly okay with how he was defeated, but I'll get to that a little more once I talk about the plot and the story. Julie Garner as Silver Surfer, as Shia LaBeouf, wonderful. Was not in this movie as much as I thought, but I really, really liked her in this movie. And I want to see more of her. I hope we do get to see more of her one day. Enzo, I'm going to get to the chat after I am done giving my thoughts on the movie. I just want to get my thoughts kind of out of the way, and then I'll just be here talking to chat for as long as you guys are here chatting. So stand by. I'll get to your chat in just a couple minutes. Yeah, she was great. I hope I see more of her. Stand out for me, and I'm biased in many ways, but stand out for me, Mole Man, Paul Walter Hauser, for a couple reasons. One, I love Mole Man. I'm a big Mole Man fan, all the way back because of the Superhero Squad show. Don't know if any of you guys watch that show. I used to watch it every day that it was on TV before school. And ever since I started watching that as a kid, I loved Mole Man. I've wanted to see Mole Man on the big screen. We barely saw any of him in this movie, but we got him. I'm taking that as a win. I hope we see more of him in the future. And all I want to see, this is never going to happen, but all I want to see, I just want one scene, just one scene with Doom, Mole Man, and Abomination together. I just want one scene, one shot of them all lined up together. I just want that, just to appease the 6-year-old in me who watched Superhero Squad show growing up. But he was great. I mean, the scenes he was in, absolute standout. I'm also a big fan of Paul Walter Hauser, and he absolutely killed it. But yeah, the casting was really great. I have no real issues with the casting at all. Even though I prefer the OG cast, that's not a bad thing. That's not a slight to the new cast at all. The OG cast is just so freaking perfect. You know. So briefly, the score, wonderful. I mean, there's not really much else to say about that. The score was absolutely wonderful. One of the best scores for any Marvel movie. Visually speaking, also one of the best Marvel movies. It just looked gorgeous, especially the black hole scene. I know people have talked about that ad nauseum, so I don't want to, kind of be a broken record, but what an amazing sequence. And I can't wait to rewatch that sequence. It just visually, again, looked amazing. The CGI also really freaking good. There was like one or two shots where Ben looked slightly CGI. One or two shots, the baby wasn't great, right? But so what? Who cares? Everything else was absolutely flawless. There was a couple shots, especially of the Thing, that genuinely looked like this was an actual dude made of rocks. Like, it was so good. I was stunned in the movie when I saw that, how freaking good some of the shots of the Thing looked. But yeah, the story. So that's where a lot of people's issues with the movie are, and where I don't have as many issues with it that most people do. It did feel a little rushed. It could have benefited from having maybe 20 to 30 more minutes instead of being, what, I think an hour 55 is where the runtime ended up being. I think it could have benefited from, 20 to 30 more minutes of just more character stuff. It felt like it was just going and going and going and going. And that's not bad per se. It's still really good. It's still a really good movie, really fun time. But I felt like it needed just some more moments of breathing room, if that makes sense. If you understand what I'm saying when I mean breathing room. It would have, I think, made the movie a lot more enjoyable. Now, something some people are talking about is just how Galactus was defeated, and the fact that he was even defeated at all. There were people going into this expecting them to lose, and for Galactus to destroy their world. I have no issue with how he was defeated. Like I said, I think them outsmarting Galactus and not even killing him or really beating him in a fight. They just teleported him away. I'm cool with that. I'm genuinely cool with that. And it also, this is where I was talking about where Sue, I would argue, is the most powerful of the four, at least how she's portrayed in this movie. Her pushing Galactus like that. What a feat of power, man. I mean, it goes so far as to kill her, but what a feat of power to push Galactus that much and for that long. Absolutely so powerful, so cool to see. I'm so glad they gave Sue Storm that kind of importance. But yeah, I had no issue with it. I mean, it's Galactus, right? Like, I didn't expect Galactus to die. You know, I didn't expect him to beat Galactus in a one-on-one fight. I wasn't expecting to break out some, you know, Megazord to fight Galactus. I think this was a really nice ending. A little rushed, yeah, maybe, but you know, the whole movie kind of has that fast tone, of fast pacing, so it didn't feel out of line, and it was still a fun time. I still liked it. I definitely liked it. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies, you know, since Endgame, for sure. It is my least favorite. No, Brave New World came out this year. I like Superman and Thunderbolts more in that order. But that doesn't mean I disliked Fantastic Four. I want to make that clear, because these days people are so black and white. If you say you like a less than something, you automatically dislike it. Not true. I still really liked it. I still really, really liked it, right? But I loved Superman. Superman is one of my favorite comic book movies ever, and I really freaking like Thunderbolts. And I can't wait to rewatch it on Tuesday when the DVD comes out. So that's not a slight to Fantastic Four at all. Fantastic Four is really good. It is the best Fantastic Four movie. Even though I don't like the casting as much as the OG, it's still a much better movie in my opinion. And yeah, let's get that post-credit scene real quick. Let's touch on that. So that post-credit scene was confirmed to be shot by the Russo brothers on the set of Doomsday. And Dr. Doom shows up. 4 years after the events of the movie, we got, so was that a 4-year-old Franklin Richards. Dr. Doom shows up, and he has his mask off. Franklin Richards is touching his face. Cut to black. Now, if you only read Reddit, you'll think people hate this post-credit scene. If you actually talk to people or just go see it in a theater and get that experience, people really like the post-credit scene. Like, there were audible gasps and shocks. Like, you could feel that people were like, oh my gosh, Doom! It's a good post-credit scene, right? It's a good post-credit scene. I don't care that they didn't show his face. I don't care that they didn't turn around. I don't care that there was no dialogue. It was a good post-credit scene. All you need to do is just tease, and that's what it did, right? And here's the thing too, right? And this is, I'm talking to my own friends here with this. They were complaining about Superman having post-credit scenes that were just jokes, and then they complain about the final post-credit scene of Fantastic Four being a joke. I like it. I had no qualms with that at all. But then, so they'll complain about that, but then also when they have a post-credit scene that teases something and actually sets something up, they'll complain about it too. Like, you can't win. You know, people aren't happy these days. It's a good post-credit scene. Now, we could talk for hours about, okay, why is Doom there? What is Doom doing? Is he about to steal Franklin? Did Franklin just fix his... This is a popular theory right now. Is Franklin going to fix Doom's face so he looks like Tony Stark and so he doesn't have scars? I think, honestly, they might go down that route. Fair enough. I think that's a valid route to go. I honestly think it's just that Doom took off his mask to let Franklin, a 4-year-old, see that, oh, this is an actual human, and that, I mean no harm, and Franklin's just touching his face because it's all scarred. That's what I think it is. I don't think it's anything deeper, like Franklin's fixing his face. Now, Franklin could end up still fixing his face in the movie. I'm really intrigued in what they do with Franklin Richards. Franklin Richards being one of the most overpowered characters in all the comics, you know, but it does exactly what it should do. It gets us talking, it gets us intrigued, it gets us theorizing about Doomsday, which is a year and a half away. So I have absolutely no issues with the post-credit scene. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm really excited to see these characters in a bigger role, bigger, it's their own movie, but, you know, in another big role, I should say, in Doomsday and Secret Wars, and in the MCU to come. But let's get to the live chat here. There's some chats here. Let's get to your guys' thoughts on Fantastic Four First Steps and theories just for the MCU moving forward. I am so hyped for Doomsday. Sad that we are about to enter a total superhero drought for a year here, though, as far as movies are concerned. Yeah, as far as movies are concerned, it is sad. I was thinking about that too. I texted my friend that the other day. I was like, man, I gotta tell you, now that the Fantastic Four high is draining, it kind of sucks that the next big, like, franchise... I know that we have Avatar 3, which is I'm excited for, and I'm going to see that. I'm going to see Tron Ares, you know, and there's other smaller movies here and there I'm going to see, but in terms of just, like, big, like, franchises I love, the next movie is Mandalorian in May. But once that comes out, it doesn't stop. Mandalorian in May. Supergirl in June. Spider-Man in July. Avengers in December. So there is this dry spell for movies, but as you specified, just movies. You know, we got Peacemaker Season 2 in a couple of weeks. We got Eyes of Wakanda on Friday. I'll be doing a live stream a week from today to discuss Eyes of Wakanda. We have Marvel Zombies, Wonder Man, Daredevil Season 2, Lanterns, maybe Vision Quest, you know, depending on when that releases, the Punisher special. So there's still a lot of content to watch and to discuss. But yeah, in terms of, as far as movies are concerned, we have a long time until the next one, and it's unfortunate. But hopefully it'll be worth the wait. Are you okay with them recasting MCU Iron Man, Steve Rogers, T'Challa continuation of Chadwick Boseman? For you, yes, I am hyped. There's so many more stories to tell them. Yes, fully. I am fully on the bandwagon of recast these characters. The characters are bigger than the actors. As amazing as Robert Downey Jr. is as Iron Man, as amazing as Chris Evans is as Steve Rogers, as amazing as Chadwick Boseman was as Black Panther, the characters were around before the actors, and they'll be around after. You should recast. And I've been saying this for a while now, that they definitely should recast Iron Man as Steve Rogers and T'Challa post-Secret Wars. Right away? No. I mean, there's no reason to have Steve Rogers and Tony Stark in the movie immediately following Secret Wars, but, you know, 3-5 years after, go for it. I don't see any reason not to. We finally have every single Marvel character, except for Spider-Man, and you know, his... Spider-Man's still in the universe, but, you know, Marvel Studios doesn't have full control over Spider-Man yet, but outside of Spider-Man and his surrounding characters, you can literally use every single Marvel character anymore. So use every single Marvel character. Have Tony Stark and Reed Richards finally interact. Have Steve Rogers and Scott Summers finally interact in live action on the big screen. You know? Don't limit yourself just because 20 years before they were great performances, and they are great performances. Steve Rogers, Captain America, one of my favorite live action characters ever. I love Captain America. I love specifically Chris Evans' Captain America, right? That doesn't mean don't recast. That doesn't mean I don't want to see them use the character Steve Rogers again. Is there going to be an adjustment period? Yeah, totally. Seeing a new actor as Iron Man, seeing a new actor as Steve Rogers, there's going to be a brief adjustment period. That's not bad. And using Fantastic Four First Steps as comparison, they don't have to be better than what came before. Whoever they would end up recasting Tony Stark as does not have to be better than Robert Downey Jr. Whoever they would recast Steve Rogers as does not have to be better than Chris Evans. They just have to be good. They just have to be good. If they're better, great. That's great, you know? But they just have to be good. That's all I am asking for. I just don't limit yourself. That's how I see it. Should Tony Stark and Steve Rogers get their own solo movies? No. I don't think so, at least not immediately when you recast them. But let them appear in stuff. Let them appear in stuff. Please. Please recast. As far as actually talking about the movie, I thought it was a solid 8.5, maybe 9. Oh, wow, you really liked it. Nice. I loved all the castings and each character so much. Galactus was so cool. Loved the visuals. Yeah, no, I agree. For me, it was probably... I think it was an 8. 8. Solid 8 out of 10. Whereas Superman was like 9.5, 9.5 out of 10. Thunderbolt's about an 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, no, I really liked it. Glad you liked it so much, Pascal Officer. What's up, Taro? How's it going, man? Ryan Coogler needs to direct Blade after Sinners. Yes? No. Ryan Coogler needs to direct whatever he wants to direct. I don't think Ryan Coogler has any interest in directing Blade. I would bet so much money that Ryan Coogler was approached to direct Blade and he probably said no. But also, Ryan Coogler's making Black Panther 3. He definitely needs to focus on that. And honestly, after that, let him do other things. With few exceptions, I don't want to see directors in universes for a prolonged period of time, with some exceptions. Russo brothers being one of those exceptions, James Gunn being another exception, and Ryan Coogler arguably could be another exception. But with the success of Sinners, an original movie, original concept, I want him to do more of that. Now, if he wants to do Blade, sure, but if you want Blade anytime soon, then it can't be Ryan Coogler, because he's doing Black Panther 3, which we know is happening. Peacemaker's coming to Fortnite. James Gunn confirmed at San Diego Comic-Con panel. Yeah, I'm betting he's in the Battle Pass next season. He's been leaked for about a year now, I think. I'm placing money on Battle Pass next season for sure. Never read the comics, but I think him being smart makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's an astronaut scientist, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say yeah. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I haven't read a lot of Fantastic Four comics, so I'm not super familiar with their comic counterparts. I'm familiar with their personality in the comics, less so their specific traits. And if Johnny's an astronaut, I'm not sure. Galactus in IMAX was crazy. I bet, man. I bet. I don't have any IMAX theaters close to me, so I didn't see it in IMAX. But I mean, he was crazy even in regular theaters. So I bet he was awesome in IMAX. Mail server surfer. I don't really care, honestly. Either way, we have Shia LaBeouf. That's cool. I liked her in the movie. She exists in the comics. I'm cool with it. If they want to bring in Norrin Rad, go for it. I'm not dying for it though. Whatever they want to do with that, honestly. Did you like this or Thunderbolts better? Because I loved both, but thought Thunderbolts was a 10 out of 10, whereas this was like a 9. Yeah, I liked Thunderbolts better. For me, Thunderbolts was about a 8.5, maybe 9, depending on this rewatch. Whereas Fantastic Four was a solid 8. Thunderbolts just made me feel something, Not that Fantastic Four didn't. I was really connected to all these characters in Fantastic Four. And I was along for the ride, and it made me feel something in the sense that I'm now connected and invested in these characters, and I really enjoy these characters and want to see more of them. Thunderbolts made me feel something in a different way, where I felt seen and connected in a way that I haven't in a superhero movie, honestly, since Captain America. No, since Spider-Man. Since Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Steve Rogers' Captain America, I related to a lot and really looked up to growing up, and still do. Tom Holland's Spider-Man was the first time I really saw myself in a superhero, in a comic character. And Thunderbolts was the first time since then where I really felt like, wow, they're talking about me. I know some people think it's a little on the nose. I don't mind that it's on the nose. That end where they all do, group hug Sentry and tell him that he's not alone. That made me cry. That legit made me cry. I haven't cried at a superhero movie, I don't think, since Endgame. That made me cry. Thunderbolts made me cry. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I love Thunderbolts. I just adore the fact how it portrayed mental health and how they didn't make it this stigma to not talk about it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I can't wait to rewatch it. Marvel can't use Miles Morales in the MCU because Sony won't let them. Yeah, I mean, they said Marvel can't use Miles Morales until after Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out. I don't see an issue with that, honestly. Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out before Secret Wars comes out. I don't think we were getting Miles in the MCU before Secret Wars anyway. So I don't see it as an issue. Once we get Fantastic Four 2, what do you hope they improve on? The only thing that I hope they improve on, I just want slightly more for Ben to do. Because, like I said, he's the one character that I'm not super invested in and connected to. In terms of just the Thing as a character. In the MCU, I want to see more of him, definitely. But just when you talk about the Fantastic Four as characters, I was never really interested in Thing or attached to Thing. I'm just not big on those characters anyway. Like the Thing, the Hulk, these big, strong characters like that. I'm just not... They've never been my cup of tea. Yeah, I want to see a little more for the Thing to do. And I just want Johnny to feel more free. He mostly was throughout the movie, but again, there was a couple moments that I can't name off the top of my head because it's been a couple days and I've only seen it once. But there's a couple moments still where he felt a little stiff and felt like Joseph Quinn was kind of stiff and holding back. Well, I just want Johnny to be free, have fun, open up more, be more loose. Chris Evans as Chris Evans as Human Torch, he was loose, he was fun, he was moving, right? There was a certain energy and flow to him that Johnny Storm has that certain moments I felt like Joseph Quinn didn't. That's honestly the one thing that I think they should improve on, if anything. And even then, like, still good. Still a really good Human Torch. A post-credit scene, Doomsday hype indeed. All right, so let's discuss a little bit. When do you guys think we're going to get the first trailer for Doomsday? I think there's two options. For me, there's two options. There's option A, which is December, 18th? 1 year before it releases in theaters. I think the release date next year is December 18th. So do you think it's December 18th this year, 1 year to the day before it releases? Or do you think it's the next San Diego Comic-Con in July? So about a year from now, which would be what? Actually, a year from 2 days ago? But A, a year from this December, a year from when it releases. B, Comic-Con. I don't have an answer. I don't have an opinion. I think for me, I'm currently split 50-50. I think there's pros and cons to both. This movie was really good. I think it's the best Fantastic Four movie. I agree. It's definitely the best Fantastic Four movie, in my opinion. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. And I did want to bring this up as well. Because it's something that I was saying before the movie came out, and I saw it confirmed when the movie did come out. A lot of people, going into this movie, I kept my expectations in check. I went in with the expectation of, I'm not going to like this more than Superman, maybe more than Thunderbolts, but it's okay if I don't like it more than Thunderbolts. And what do you know? I came out of the movie, I really liked it, but I didn't like it more than Superman or Thunderbolts, but that's okay. Now, at least talking within my own friend group, now, my best friend had the same opinion. He's seeing it on Tuesday, so I don't know how he's going to react to the movie, but he had the same opinion going in. But we were both saying that, yeah, people have their expectations way too high. That's going to be the biggest thing for this movie. People are expecting this to be, like, the greatest MCU movie since Endgame, when it's probably not going to be, like, it's probably not going to be better than Superman, and that's okay. But, yeah, so a couple of my friends who saw this movie immediately went, Superman's better. This makes me want to see Superman again. I'm like, dude, that they're not mutually exclusive, you know? Liking Superman more doesn't make this movie bad. It just means you like Superman more, and that's okay. But their expectations were so high for this. And I get it. I'm not faulting them to an extent, right? I'm not faulting them. What I'm saying is, just with movies in general, and I've said this a lot, so you guys have heard this a lot, but just, like, make sure to keep your expectations in check. Go into these movies always with open minds. Whether you're super excited for it or not, always leave any kind of expectations at the door. Because I've experienced it myself, both ways, and I've seen it firsthand both ways, where having super high expectations make you like a movie less, or going in expecting it to be bad, you're looking for the bad thing, so you're going to come out not liking it. But if you go into the movie with an open mind, sure, you might like it less than you expected, but you still like the movie. Or you may like a movie you expected not to. That happened with me with Solo. I was never a big Han Solo fan, but I went into Solo with an open mind, and I love that movie. I have seen Solo like 5 or 6 times. So I wanted to bring it up because I like to bring it up. I say it a lot, but always go into things with open minds, please. Want to see T'Challa and Storm in the upcoming reboot? Yeah, T'Challa and Storm together. Another great pair, Enzo, that I really want to see in this MCU after Secret Wars. Rankings for comic movies this year: Captain America, 6 out of 10, 8 out of 10 Fantastic Four, 9 out of 10 Thunderbolts, 10 out of 10. Oh, sorry, I skipped. Captain America, 6 out of 10. Superman, 8 out of 10. Fantastic Four, 9 out of 10. Thunderbolts, 10 out of 10. For me, Captain America, 7 out of 10. Fantastic Four, 8 out of 10. Superman, 9.5 out of 10. And Thunderbolts, 8.5, 9 out of 10. It's rare for me to put a comic book movie, or just movies in general, I should say, 10 out of 10s. There's four comic book movies that I put at 10 out of 10. Civil War, Endgame, Infinity War, The Batman, in that order. No, Batman probably above Infinity War. I don't know. They're all top 4. Superman is very close, though. Ryan Bell, hi, hello, welcome, nice to have you, thanks for tuning in. Really love it, but I feel like it could have been a bit better, but really good still. I agree. Could have benefited from maybe 20 to 30 more minutes of just character stuff, some breathing room. Overall, though, still really liked it. Puppet thing is so cute. Oh, thank you, J Masters. Yeah, I should also ask, what do you guys think of this puppet thing? I'm releasing what I'm calling a relaunch video the day before my first actual video is back, like consistently. Just kind of discussing, talking about what the channel is. It's like a 2-minute video, talking about what the channel is going to look like moving forward, and kind of officially introducing this new puppet avatar. And those videos releasing just depend on how long it takes to edit, because I'm actually animating the mouth for the head from the Muppet for videos instead of just doing the blanket up and down for live streams. I can't animate while I'm live. So it's taken a while because it's my first couple of videos ever doing this. But yeah, I should ask you guys. I didn't even think yesterday. What do you think of this puppet avatar? Like it? Don't like it? Please be completely honest with me. I thought it was great. Really enjoyed the retrofuturism. The actors are amazing. Great choices. Fully agree. And also, I think I forgot to say, welcome JM Masters to stream. Nice to have you. Thanks for tuning in. I agree. Yeah, I really enjoyed the visuals. Really enjoyed the retro future vibe. Actors are great. Really good time. Emerson, what's up, man? Welcome back. Nice to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. Who do you think would be a good candidate to cross over with the Fantastic Four from DC in the upcoming crossovers? In the comics, you mean? Good question. I would really like to see a Nightwing Human Torch crossover, because I just think Nightwing and Spider-Man are very similar characters. I think if DC was smart, they would make Nightwing DC's Spider-Man, because I think he really could be DC's Spider-Man. And they have a similar vibe, Nightwing and Human Torch. Along the same vein, I actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, I think the Bat Family and the Fantastic Four would be really cool to see interact. I would love, like, not even Batman, like Reed, Sue, Johnny, Ben, crossing over with Dick, Jason, Tim, Barbara. I think that'd be really cool. And then you could have a joke of like Damian being their Herbie or something. I think that'd be cool. Also love the puppet. Thank you. Snowman inspired the Underminer and the Incredibles. Yes, he did. And I definitely felt that in this movie. Made me cry too. Never cried from a movie before that. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it was really good. It was really, really good. Hi, what's up, Zelda? Thanks for tuning in, man. Nice to have you here. Welcome back. I hope we see Johnny have fun with Spider-Man. Me too. I fear maybe like a scene or two in Secret Wars and Doomsday, and maybe in a future Avengers movie. I really hope Sony lets Spider-Man interact with Human Torch. I really do. I want that interaction so much. I fear it's probably never going to happen outside of a couple scenes. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. But I'm not holding my breath, unfortunately. Zelda says Comic-Con. Okay. 8 months from release. Fair enough. I don't think they'd release a Doomsday trailer before a brand new day. I think they definitely would. Oh, no. Okay, wait. I don't want to say definitely, because you bring up a fair point where arguably, right, if depending on what the plot of Doomsday is, it could spoil Brand New Day. How does Brand New Day end? I still think they do, though. I still think they do, because Brand New Day, even though Marvel Studios is obviously a part of making it, it's still a Sony movie at the end of the day. So Doomsday is the next straight Marvel Studios movie. And while you could argue that, I mean, it's Avengers Doomsday, everyone's going to see it anyway. You don't have to market it all that much. You still have to market it a little bit. And with Brand New Day coming out, what, 7 months? No, 5 months? 6 months? 5 to 6 months before the release of Doomsday, I think it's already going to be marketed. The first trailer is going to be out by then. But also, if they have a trailer out by Brand New Day, then they get to show the trailer with Brand New Day in theaters. So I think the latest will be Brand New Day, which is also, I think that is Comic-Con weekend, actually. But it comes out the day before the panel would be. Who do you think they should direct Blade, and they need to recast Blade because the actor's too old? He's not too old. Mahershala Ali, how old is he? I mean, he was just in Jurassic Park. He could still do stuff. He's 51. Nah, he's good. He's gonna look young forever. He's gonna look young for another 20 years. He's not gonna age. Nah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. I don't have a dream director for Blade, honestly. I think hire whoever they think is best. I don't have a dream director for Blade. I've never been a big Blade fan either, so maybe that could be why. Teaser this December, official SDCC. I think I'm slightly leaning that way as well, Box Office Nerd. I'd love to have it in December, but I think they just released a trailer so early, or a teaser even. Well, when was... I want to say... Was the Infinity War trailer not a year before it came out? You know, I really should have looked at that, right? Because that's the best... Not the official trailer, but like the official teaser. Because you're right, I meant teaser. I meant teaser trailer, not full trailer when I asked about the Doomsday one. Oh, okay. No, the first Infinity War trailer seems to be November 29th, 2017. So that wasn't a year before. What about Endgame? Avengers Endgame trailer. Yeah, no, still same thing. December 7th, 2018. It looks like. So maybe, yeah, maybe I'm dead wrong. Maybe now I am leaning towards Comic-Con. There's an outside shot it's a year before, but maybe it is Comic-Con. Maybe we do have to wait a year for Doomsday footage. First trailer for Doomsday sometime in December this year, since they did the same with Endgame. Well, they did the same. The Endgame trailer released in December, and Endgame released at the end of April. Or, like, last week of April, first week in May. Doomsday releases in December next year. So that would be about a year out. I genuinely thought, like, the first trailer for Infinity War was released a year before Infinity War released, but I guess I was wrong. I stand corrected. Alexander Ludwig would be perfect as a recast MCU Steve Rogers, and Aldous Hodge would be perfect as a new T'Challa continuation of Chadwick Boseman for me. I think both should be unknown actors. Steve Rogers, I think, should be an unknown actor. Chris Evans was an unknown, obviously, when he was Steve Rogers. Like, he was Human Torch, not another teen movie. Like, he was in movies, but I would rather them cast an unknown or someone, maybe not unknown, but, you know, not mainstream as Steve Rogers. And same with T'Challa. Chadwick Boseman wasn't really a household name before Black Panther. I think they should do the same and cast someone who's not a household name. This is definitely one of the most comic book MC movies. I fully agree, and I loved every second of it. I love when comic book movies and shows feel like comic book movies and shows. Hot take, maybe. It's a hot take. And I joke when I say that, but I know a couple of my friends, whose biggest issue with Superman is a certain sequence, which is the most comic booky sequence in any superhero movie. I'm not going to spoil it in case you haven't seen it, but there's a certain sequence that is so utterly silly and ridiculous, but it's so comic book that I love it. I love when comic book movies are not afraid of being comic book movies. I love it, I love it, I love it, and I hope this trend continues. I have absolutely zero interest in seeing quote-unquote comic book movies that are just, I don't even know what to call them, like regular movies where they use the names of the characters. There's one movie I'm thinking of in particular that I won't name by name, but I absolutely hate it for that exact reason. You need to keep in mind that although Endgame released a teaser in December, that was only about 5 months before the film release. Yes, yeah. I honestly thought it was a year beforehand. I guess that wait was just so long. I know you're a big Red Hood fan, so what would your pitch for a Red Hood solo film be? I'm going to cheat a little bit, all right? I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to say I don't want a Red Hood film. I want Red Hood to be in films. I want Red Hood to be in Batman films and Bat Family films. I also, hot take, want him to be with the Teen Titans. He's not going to be a part of the Titans in the DCU, especially. He's not going to be, but I want to see him with the Titans. I think there's a 4-issue comic run. I forgot what it's called, but it's only 4 issues with Red Hood on the Titans. It is perfection. It is perfection. Oh, so good. But I want a Red Hood series. I want a Red Hood and the Outlaws series where you follow Red Hood, Red Hood, Arsenal, and Corey, then Red Hood and Arsenal, and then you get Red Hood, Artemis, and Bizarro. Red Hood and the Outlaws. And you could do maybe a season or part of a story where it tackles Red Hood the Lost Days, where it's, between being revived by the Lazarus Pit and coming back as Red Hood and Under the Red Hood. That's a pretty cool story that I wouldn't mind seeing. But for all of these, I think I'd rather it be a series. So I'm kind of cheating, but I think Red Hood should be a series, not a movie. I think Nightwing should have a solo film. I don't have a pitch for it, but like I said, I think Nightwing really should be DC's Spider-Man, and they don't see it. Don't see it. Not a big puppet guy, but it's pretty cool. Great for branding. That was my thought as well. It could be sort of my brand, my thing. Fair enough on not being a big pup guy, but I appreciate you still thinking it's cool. Just curious, how would you rank the top 8 Bat-Fan members? The 3 Robins, Batgirls, and Wonder Woman. Okay. Oh, and Batwoman. I said Wonder Woman. Batwoman. Well, Red Hood, number 1. Nightwing, number 2. Batgirl, number 3. I love all 3 of those characters. After that, I honestly can't really rank them. Because Batgirls, you're talking about Barbara Gordon and... Crap, who's the other Batgirl? And this goes to what I was about to say, where I'm not well read on someone like Batwoman or the other Batgirl. It's not Stephanie Brown. Is it Stephanie Brown? If it is Stephanie Brown, I'm definitely not well read on her. But out of the ones that I know, and obviously I know all of them, but the ones that I'm more like well versed on: Red Hood, Nightwing, Batgirl, Damian, Tim. I'm just not a Tim Drake fan. They definitely need to market Doomsday hard to get the casuals back. Yeah, if they want another $1 billion movie or more. Yeah, I think it. Post-COVID is crazy, right? But post-COVID is crazy. I want to say it hits $1 billion regardless, but also, it's post-COVID. I think you're right about getting casuals back, but also I think Doomsday and Secret Wars are going to get a lot of casuals back regardless. You definitely need at least one trailer. you need one trailer, but you also... This is why they announce all these actors ahead of time, right? Like, they're going to market the absolute shit, part of my language. They're going to market the shit out of the X-Men. As they should. I don't want to see them in the marketing. I would prefer to see them for the first time in the theater for Doomsday on the big screen when I'm there. But I know that they're going to market the shit out of Cyclops and Magneto, right? And Gambit. As they should. And that's going to be hype. And when they release that first trailer, we're going to be here live chatting and just having to wear our white pants for how excited we are, right? That's what's going to happen. But, no, they're going to market the absolute shit out of the X-Men to get those casuals back, like you said. In retrospect, even with regard to the film itself, another 15 minutes would have been really good, but I meant the scene after the credit. Doom, the scene was good, but could have been better. Oh, I see what you mean. Honestly, I think it's fine. I don't think they needed more than that. It did its job. There's Doom. Doomsday's coming out. That's about it. In my theater, people gasped. People seem to like it. I think it did its job. Have you seen the Red Hood animated movie? I've never seen it and don't know much about the character. Would you recommend? I would highly recommend. It is one of my favorite DC movies. I think it's my favorite DC animated movie. It's what made me a fan of the character. I knew of the character before. Seeing that, I was like, oh, this dude's freaking cool. I love his dynamic with Batman. I want to read more in the comics. I read a lot more comics. He's my favorite comic character now. Unfortunately, they don't want to progress his character in the comics, so he goes back and forth a lot between killing and not killing, and he fights Batman every 5 years or so, 2 years or so, and they keep regressing his character. I'm not a fan of that, but overall, he's a really good character. I would definitely recommend the movie, though, Under the Red Hood. Really good. Also, Herbie was adorable, and I want one. His relationship with Johnny was so wholesome. Love Herbie. Big Herbie fan. I was so excited when I saw that they were going to have Herbie in this movie. It was one of the big things I wanted. When they announced this, I wanted Herbie, and I wanted Mole Man. And that's about it. I got my Herbie, and I got Mole Man. I wanted Mole Man to be the main villain, but hey, he was still in the movie. So, I'm not complaining all that much. No, I loved Herbie. Thoughts on Damon Idris as Black Panther? I've seen some rumblings about that on Twitter. Damon Idris. Yes, I've seen this as well. I've seen the rumblings about this. I don't have any... Oh, no, I did see him. I saw him in Outside the Wire. Oh, he was the main dude in Outside the Wire? It was him and Anthony Mackie. Okay. It's been... I mean, that movie came out in 2021. I haven't seen it since. I think I liked it. And I don't remember disliking him in that. So, I mean, yeah, if he fits the role... Look, I mean, here's the thing. I have zero doubts in Sarah Finn's ability to cast. Period. Right? So, if she thinks Damon Idris is the best choice for the new Black Panther, go for it. I have no strong thoughts. I don't have any opinions on him as an actor. But yeah. Aldous Hodge said he wants to play T'Challa. I've only seen Aldous Hodge in one thing, and that was Black Adam, and I didn't like him in it. Now, I'm not judging him for that. I hate that movie. It's one of the few times you'll hear me talk negatively about something. I absolutely hate that movie. I did not like him in that movie. Probably is not his fault, though. I will give him the benefit of the doubt. And same thing, like I said, if Sarah Finn thinks that he's the best choice for T'Challa, I'm game. I trust. And talking about DC, who should be Wonder Woman? I've seen some suggest May Calloway from Moon Knight. She would be fantastic. Loved her in Moon Knight. Would love to see her get a bigger chance of something in Wonder Woman. I want her, or I want my absolute queen. I just need to pronounce her name. From Andor, Adria Arjona. I'm definitely butchering that pronunciation. My stunning queen. Would love for her to be Wonder Woman. I'm a big fan of her. Couldn't tell. What's your thoughts about Spider-Man Brand New Day as a street-level movie? Okay, so I mentioned yesterday in my stream that I have some thoughts about Brand New Day that we talk about today when it was brought up. So I want to clarify and say that these thoughts that I have, like I said earlier about Fantastic Four, just movies in general, I am going to go into the movie with an open mind. All right? These are going to be left at the door. For all I know, Brand New Day could be the best Spider-Man movie. It could be the best MCU movie. It could be the best comic book movie, right? We don't know. I'm going in with an absolute open mind. The fact that it's a Brand New Day... The fact that it's a street-level movie, I really like. Also, I'm just noticing someone just subscribed. Thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't see that before. But the fact that it's street-level, I really like. I'm very glad it's a street-level movie. It should be. It should be street level. However, that's kind of where my excitement... Well, no. My excitement doesn't end with that. My excitement ends with the fact that the Shang-Chi director is directing it. The fight scenes are going to go hard, regardless of what I'm about to say next. But, I'm not a fan of the Hulk. Alright? I've never been a Hulk fan. I don't care for the character. So, him being in the movie, already kind of not super exciting. Then you bring in the Punisher. Jon Bernthal's Punisher is quite literally my favorite casting for any comic character. So you might be saying, why is that a bad thing then that he's in Spider-Man? Shouldn't Jon Bernthal's Punisher, your favorite casting for a comic book character, being in a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, one of your other favorite castings for any comic book character, your favorite Spider-Man, the character that the first comic character, first comic character you saw yourself in or related to, why is that a bad thing? Shouldn't this be the most exciting thing ever? In theory, but this movie is PG-13. I have zero interest in a PG-13 Punisher. I also have zero interest in Punisher and Spider-Man fighting a raged up Hulk. I have even less interest in seeing Punisher wear the War Machine outfit. I know it's a hot take. I understand. But I have zero interest in seeing War Machine in that. Seeing Doctor Strange. Seeing Punisher in that outfit. On top of all of that, right? On top of all of that, the biggest kicker is the fact that this is a street-level movie with someone like Punisher in it, when it could have easily been Spider-Man and Daredevil versus Kingpin. That's kind of what it is. It's just the principle of the fact that this could have been... This clearly is a street-level movie. It's clearly not a multiverse movie, right? If it was a multiverse movie, then, like, that's a whole different issue. But at least there was never a chance it was going to be Daredevil and Spider-Man versus Kingpin anyway, because it was multiverse, right? But the fact that it's street level, the fact that you have a Netflix character in this movie, and it's not a Spider-Man and Daredevil versus Kingpin, when it's also, like, the most perfect time to ever do that, with what Daredevil Born Again is setting up and doing... The fact that they're still not doing that pisses me off. And I bet you it's a Sony thing. For some reason. I don't know that for a fact, obviously. I don't know that for a fact. But it's probably a Sony thing. Or it could have been a thing where there were rumors back then that, back in the day, you know, maybe about a year ago, 6 months ago, that Marvel and Sony were going back and forth. Sony wanted a multiverse movie. Marvel wanted a street-level movie. It could also be a thing where Sony and Marvel were going back and forth for too long that it ended up not working being a Daredevil movie. Like, they already had to move forward with Daredevil Born Again Season 2 and kind of close off that Kingpin storyline. But I still blame Sony for that then, honestly. Like, it's just the principle of that pisses me off. So it's all that added combined. Hulk's in the movie. I don't care for Hulk. We're going to get a toned-down Punisher. And the fact that this is street level and could have very easily been Daredevil and Spider-Man teaming up with Daredevil against Kingpin, a Spider-Man villain, and it's not. It's all that really ticks me off. Like I said, though, I'm going in with an open mind. Like, those feelings are real inside of me, but the minute I step into the theater, those feelings are left at that door, and I watch the movie and take the movie for what it is. Could I come out of the movie still going, yeah, this would have been so much cooler if it's a Daredevil movie. This movie was kind of bland. Sure. But it could also come out being, look, I would have loved for this to be Daredevil and Spider-Man versus Kingpin. That would have been great. That would have been the ideal scenario. But what we got was actually pretty damn good, too. Either scenario is perfectly likely. So, I'm still going with an open mind. I like that it's street level, but it's not the correct street level. Do you think Doomsday and Secret Wars will be pushed again? Maybe to the next Maze instead of the December? I don't want it to happen, but I think it's very possible. I don't. I think there's plenty of time now. They're filming Doomsday and Secret Wars back to back. So that means Doomsday probably finishes filming... Doomsday probably finishes filming by September, November. And that's still more than a year before release. Plenty of time. Plenty of time to finish everything. And Secret Wars going in right after it, even more than a year before that, which Secret Wars, you're going to need more time for post than Doomsday. So, no, I don't think it gets pushed back at all. I think they're pretty solid in those dates now. And here's the thing, too. So this has been making rounds online recently, and I want to make it clear to everyone in the stream, this should not worry you. There's these reports that are saying, the script's not finished, the script's not finished, oh my gosh, the script's not finished. Don't worry. Like, it's... They have a third act. Like, the whole thing is that there's no third act. They have a third act, right? They have a full script. They have a full finished script. What's really going on, and this is just outrage culture, right? Here's the scenario. Here's the reality, is that there's no finished script. That is true. Because they're on set, they're constantly revising and improving. Revising and improving on set and changing things. That's normal. That's ideal, actually. When you're on a film set, when you're filming, right? You obviously want to have that script. beforehand. And you want that script to be as good as it can be. I love what James Gunn is doing in his philosophy with that. Until there's a good script, we're not going to start production on the movie. That's how it should be. That's the right way to go about it. But even that, like, let's use the Batman Part 2 for an example. Batman Part 2 took like 4 years to write. And now that they finally have a script, rumor is they're going to start shooting in January. Awesome. Really exciting. They have that great script. Awesome. Great. But once filming starts in January, once they're on set and they start shooting the Batman Part 2, they shouldn't force themselves to have to follow that script. And let me explain a little bit more. If they're on set, right? And if they're shooting a scene and they come up with an idea that works better, they shouldn't go, man, this is a better idea, but, well, the script says this. I mean, if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. Don't do that new idea. If their idea is, oh, Superman should fly in. No, like, obviously don't do that. But if the new idea works for the story and it's just a better idea, do that. And I'm like 90% sure. I'm obviously not on set. Like, I'm not a part of the production of Doomsday. So, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I obviously I don't know for a fact. But from my knowledge of film production, it's probably more so just the fact that they are changing things on the day. And that's not something to be scared about. That's perfectly normal, and that's, in my opinion, encouraged. The rule on sets should be the best idea wins. Whether it comes from the script, the director, the actor, the gaffer, the grip, it doesn't matter. Best idea wins. They should not force themselves to follow a script if they have the best idea. If they have a better idea on the day. Whether it be for a line, choreography, whatever. So, you shouldn't be worried about those reports either. When Reed was name-dropping the villains, I recognized the Wizard from Ultimate Spider-Man. Yes, I gotta go back and rewatch that scene, because I heard the Wizard for sure, and there was a couple others that I heard the name of, obviously, but I didn't recognize. But I was assuming that they were going to be, other villains from comics. Wolfgang Nobelgratz as MCU Cyclops. I remember this name being brought up. I have seen him in something. I saw him in the last summer. I don't remember him in the last summer at all. I feel like I didn't mind that movie. I haven't seen him in anything else. So much like, was it Damon Idris? Much like Damon Idris, I don't have an opinion on him as an actor. He looks like Cyclops. He has that, but you also know I am not a stickler for that the actor needs to look exactly like the character. I mean, it's in an ideal world, the casting is 100% comic accurate in terms of looks and the best actor for the part, but sometimes the best actor for the part doesn't 100% look like the comic book character, and as long as the comic character doesn't have to look a certain way, go with the best actor. But like I said, if Seraphin thinks he's the best actor for the part, then yeah, I trust her. Imagine the hype if we didn't know about the RDJ casting and then showed his face in the post-credit scene. I disagree. Actually. If we didn't know RDJ was going to be playing Dr. Doom, and if they just showed his face in a post-credit scene, people would be far more upset than they are. I mean, there's already a lot of people who are still upset about the casting. I'm waiting. I have my concerns, but I'm reserving all that. I'm waiting until the movie comes out to really make or even a piece of footage comes out to really make a judgment. RDJ is a great actor, so I'm trusting them. I'm going to let them cook. But that would have been, I think, people would have grown. There's some people, more the casuals would have been like, what? But the people who know Doom would have been like, okay, what the hell is this? Are you kidding? It would have had that response. And I would have been somewhere in between. I would have been more of a, oh, okay, whoa, interesting. That would have been my response. I don't know if I would have been hyped necessarily. I actually think it's better that they got ahead of it and they announced it, because now we're aware and we have 2.5 years before between us knowing that he's playing Doom and actually seeing him as Doom for the first time. Well, I mean, but not counting trailers and stuff. And I think that's good. I think people needed that, so they have time to let it marinate, so they can go in with a more open mind. If they kind of just sprung it on us in a post-credit scene, like I said, casuals would probably be hype. That don't know Doctor Doom as a character, they would have been hype. People who know Doom would be a little more concerned than they are now, and I include myself in that. Release a Shackman cut. I disagree. I am not. Well, okay. I'll just actually say what Max Shackman said in an interview. Max Shackman was asked about that in an interview, and he said, "Look, the amount of money that it costs to do the VFX for those unfinished scenes, it makes it not worth it. So this is the final cut." And like, fair enough. Honestly, fair enough. The Snyder Cut was a one and done sort of thing. I don't think that should become the norm for movies at all. I wouldn't mind seeing some of those unfinished scenes, like unfinished deleted scenes. That'd be cool. I'd be down for that. But I honestly don't have an interest in seeing Snyder Cut or a Shackman cut. What about Dr. Fate from Black Adam? I liked him in that. Was the only good part of the movie, in my opinion. Fully agree. Dr. Fate, Pierce Brosnan, wonderful. Only good part in an otherwise terrible movie. Adria Arjona is a shout. Love her. Love her. Just want to see her in more stuff, please. Love her. Ugh. I can't believe I haven't seen Hitman yet. And not Hitman. I think it's called Hitman. Not Hitman like the video game. Like the Hitman that came out on Netflix, I think last year, with Glenn Powell and Adria Arjona. I love both of them. I'm a huge fan of both of them, and I haven't seen it yet. I gotta watch it soon. I have a feeling that they will hint at Cyclops saying, "To me, my X-Men" in the marketing, and he'll say it in Doomsday just like the Thing in this movie. Agreed. He's gotta say it. Like, if they don't have James Marsden in the blue and yellow Cyclops outfit saying, "To me, my X-Men," then what's the point? Like, genuinely, what's the point? Like, don't bring him back at that point. And I'm dead serious. As someone whose favorite Marvel character is Cyclops, and as someone who has always, like, since he was a little kid, like, the first time I saw X-Men, the first X-Men movie, is when I became a fan of Cyclops. He wasn't my favorite Marvel character at the time. That took a little while still. But I was a fan from the very first time he showed up on screen. And that's what made me a James Marsden fan. Like, I have been on the bandwagon of James Marsden Cyclops since the beginning. Since the very beginning. So I want to see more of him. I want to see him done justice and give him actual screen time and like, done well. But, like, if you're not going to have him in the blue and yellow, especially after having Wolverine in the yellow and Gambit in his iconic suit, and if you're not going to have him say, "To me, my X-Men," like, don't even do that to us. Don't even bring it back then. Don't blue ball us like that. Spider-Man is filming in Scotland. It's near me, so I'll have a chance to watch the shooting. Oh, that's awesome, dude. I hope you do. That's so cool. Favorite comic of all time? Oh. I don't think I have a single favorite comic issue. I haven't read as many comics as I would like to admit. I wish I've read more comics. I know this channel is called basically comics now. More so just because it opens the door for me to make comic videos in the future, but this channel is more talking about Marvel and DC movies and shows than comics. But, you know, that's a long title. Basically Marvel and DC shows and movies. I do want to read more comics, though. I'm currently reading Blackest Night. My friend lent me his copy of Blackest Night that I'm reading. That's really good. I'll say this, though. My favorite comic story, my favorite comic run is Deceased. It's DCEASED. Deceased. It's pretty much zombies in DC. Love it. I'm a big fan of the zombie genre. Big fan of DC. Absolutely love it. And there's also, I think, a 4 to 6 issue spin-off of it that follows Red Hood. And that's great, too. I love Deceased. I'll always recommend that. So it's not a single comic. It's more of just the comic story. I love Deceased. It'll definitely be a very different Punisher we see, but I think it could still be very cool. I hope Daredevil's actually in it, too. If Daredevil's in it, it's going to be like a scene cameo, I bet. I hope I'm wrong. I genuinely hope I'm wrong. But I bet it's just a single scene thing. Is Sadie Sink the new MJ, or do you think she'll be another character? I don't think she'll be the main continuity MJ. Maybe she's playing a different universe MJ, but Zendaya is the MCU MJ. There's no way she isn't still. They made that pretty clear in No Way Home. Zendaya and Tom Holland are engaged. I don't think they're replacing Zendaya. I don't know who Sadie Sink's playing. I had some guesses, and now the longer that casting's been out, I kind of just like, I want to know who it is. I don't really care for guessing anymore. So I don't think she's MJ, though. I don't think she's MJ. I agree with your thoughts. I didn't know much about the plot or characters, but I do feel the same about Hulk and Punisher. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to see what they do. I'm not as excited as I want to be about this movie, but gonna go in with an open mind. Marvel can't use Kingpin in movies, Sony won't let them. That makes no sense. I know this is what's going around right now online, but this makes no sense. Why won't Sony let Marvel use Kingpin in a movie that is also made by Sony? Kingpin is a character who's already in the MCU. Sony wants characters from the MCU that fans love in their Spider-Man movies. If Kingpin is also kind of co-owned by Sony, which is why Kingpin can't be in, say, MCU movies, if Sony is co-producing this movie, then shouldn't this be the one movie that Kingpin could appear in? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't think Punisher will be toned down. I don't believe in that. Well, it's just a fact. Like, you can't show someone's head being blown up in a PG-13 movie. The amount of brutality and gore and violence in the Daredevil TV show and the Punisher TV show and Daredevil Born Again, those shows are TVMA, not TV-14. Spider-Man Brand New Day is PG-13, not rated R. There's only so much violence and gore you can do. Thoughts on the Nightwing and Red Hood dynamic duo movie? I'm interested in it. I'm excited for it. I don't think it's DCU canon, which is good. It shouldn't be. That's why I'm excited for it, because it seems like they're taking some liberties with Nightwing and Red Hood's backstory, and I'm cool with that. Since it's Elseworld, since it's its own thing, I'm cool with seeing a different take. If they get their dynamic right, cool by me. And I think that's what they're gonna do. So the animation style also sounds interesting. I'm excited for it. I hope it's good. For me, I'm worried that the execs will get nervous releasing an Avengers movie in December instead of May like usual. Oh, I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. Spider-Man No Way Home released in December, made a crap ton of money. Star Wars released in December, those made a crap ton of money. Avatar releases in December, and I don't think there's an Avatar release next year, right? Avatar 4 isn't for a while. Yeah, the next Avatar movie is 2029. So, December's kind of clear for Disney movies. So, yeah, I don't think there's any issue with that at all. Wow, there's 4 years between the next Avatar movie and the one after that? Damn. Am I excited for the future of the MCU? Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm excited for pretty much everything coming out with the MCU moving forward. To varying degree, but yeah, I'm super excited. Could it also be a subversion? A lot of this is stuff about the script is from interviews with the actors, but could it be that they are told to not give too much away? Say it's not complete yet to avoid. Well, they're definitely told not to give too much away. As far as I'm aware, the stuff about the script not being finished is more so from, like, quote-unquote, scoopers and quote-unquote leakers, right? These reports saying the script isn't finished yet. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is an interview where one of the actors says the script isn't finished yet, but I think it's more... No, I think having the actors say the script isn't finished is not a good look. So I don't think it would be that. Avoid spoilers and subvert expectations. Could also be that they aren't giving full scripts to the actors for avoid leaks. It could be that, because they did that with Infinity War and Endgame. It's almost definitely that as well. I think there's definitely actors in this movie who only get their scenes, for sure. Especially Secret Wars definitely will be like that. So it could be that as well, but I don't think the actors are the ones saying that the script's not finished. I'm excited for the Nick Cage Spider Noir TV show. I am! And I forgot that was coming out until you just said that. But I am really excited for that. It's made on Amazon Prime. I think the best streamer right now for original content. Arguably, it's between that and Apple TV for original content. Original, like, superhero content, definitely Amazon Prime wins. The Boys, Invincible, now Spider Noir, like, that's going to be hype. No, I'm really excited for it. I think that they can make Punisher work in a Spider-Man movie because John Bernthal is heavily protective about his character and the way that he's portrayed it, including creative input. They would probably push for hard PG-13 for him. No, yeah, what you said here about Bernthal being very protective, I also picked up on, and it's also in my head. So that's the only thing that's keeping me from being really sour on this movie, and the fact that he's in it is the fact that Bernthal won't show up as Punisher unless he believes that it does the character justice. So the fact that he has agreed to come back is the only piece of hope for me that, like, okay, they might cook here with Punisher, but it doesn't mean I'm not still concerned. I guess there's a casual when it comes to Doomsday. I don't know much about him. Fair enough. That's totally okay as well. One of my closest friends is similar. He rewatched also the first Fantastic Four movie this past week, and he was telling me how much he was like, oh man, like Robert Downey Jr. has big shoes to fill because I loved how they did Doom in this movie with his powers and everything. And I'm like, I respect your opinion, dude. It's very clear you have not read the comics because the Doom in the original Doom in every Fantastic Four movie so far has not been done well at all. I love the actor that played Doom in the original movies. Rest in peace. He was wonderful. It was a wonderful casting, but the writing for the character was absolutely abysmal. And was not comic accurate at all. But yeah, no, I mean it's totally okay to be a casual when it comes to certain characters and to say I just don't know much about them. Like that's totally okay. Not a bad thing at all. Box officer, not a bad thing at all. They don't really want a Snyder Cut thing, but some of the extra scenes, deleted scenes, even unfinished, will be cool. Maybe released on Disney Plus or something. I hope so. Yeah, I hope we get some of those on Disney Plus or the DVD release. I'm both-minded. Me too. Marvel has a better future. Star Wars is dead. Disagree with that. Star Wars is not dead, but this is not a Star Wars stream, so I won't get into that tangent here. Do you think Fantastic Four will cross 1 billion? What is it currently projecting for the weekend? That's where Fantastic Four first steps box office. Nine hours ago, Fantastic Four first steps, 118 million in North America, slightly ahead of expectations of 100 to 110 million. International box office, global total of 218 million. Pretty good opening weekend. I mean, there's not a lot of big competition for a while. I think it's going to have better legs than Superman, even though I think Superman was better received purely because it came out last. You know, Superman's still doing really good. Like, don't get me wrong. Superman, I think, just crossed 500 million this weekend, which is fantastic. No pun intended. But it's going to start slowing a lot because Fantastic Four just came out. You know, so people are going to go see that. With Fantastic Four not having as much competition, it could have better legs. I think Fantastic Four ends up around 600, 700. I don't think it's a billion. Purely also because post-COVID, barely any movies have crossed a billion. Let's see which movies have crossed a billion since COVID. What movies have made over $1 billion post-COVID? Every movie to break $1 billion at the box office since COVID. Let's see. Jurassic World Dominion, just barely, 1.004 billion. Top Gun Maverick, 1.1 billion. Deadpool Wolverine, 1.14 billion. Barbie did really, that's sick, 1.14 billion. Super Mario Bros, 1.4. Inside Out 2, 1.6. No Way Home, 1.9. Way of Water did 2.3 billion. Holy shit, that's crazy. And that was the biggest one. Yeah, I would say Fantastic Four comes in around 700. I think there was more hype for Deadpool and Wolverine than Fantastic Four because of Hugh Jackman and Deadpool and all that. And No Way Home had Toby and Andrew, you know, and it's Spider-Man. I don't think it crosses 1 billion. It'd be cool if it does, but I don't think it does. This year has been kind of a Marvel comeback. Yes, it has. Also, what were your thoughts on Ironheart? I thought it was okay. Last episode was crazy, though. Didn't expect Marvel to make a straight-up tragedy. Yeah, the ending was kind of wild. I thought it was fine. I think the first 3 episodes were better than the last 3. I think the best character was Alden Ehrenreich's character. I didn't love Ironheart. The actress was great. Dominique Thorne is wonderful as Riri. No, it's not her at all. But they kind of made Riri unlikable. Like, I was never rooting for Riri in this show at all. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I thought Echo was baseline fine. I put Ironheart like a notch or 2 above Echo. That, like, a little better than fine, but not near the top of my list for Disney Plus shows. Sony won't let Marvel use Kingpin in Spider-Man movies because Sony's being Sony. This is the same company that thinks Madam Web is a great movie and blames the press for the flop of Madam Web. Oh, so you're saying you agree? You're saying that it is stupid that Sony won't let Kingpin be in a Sony movie, and Sony just making that decision because that's just how Sony makes decisions. Okay, fair enough. What can they improve on in future Disney Plus TV shows? It's hard to say. Ironheart was the last Disney Plus show made before Bob Iger came back, or at least shot before Bob Iger came back. And every show that has released since Bob Iger has come back, Agatha and Daredevil Season 1 have been pretty freaking good. And it sounds like Daredevil Season 2 is even better than Season 1 of Born Again. Vision Quest is going to be hype as all hell. And Wonder Man, I'm curious to see what that's about. I don't know. I think right now it's a wait and see before I can really answer that. How is Marvel able to use Kingpin in TV then? I thought they only had Spider-Man character rights for animated shows, or just he's counted as a Daredevil villain there? Kingpin's kind of... Kingpin's a little weird rights-wise. I think they're fine to use him in shows, obviously, but movies is where it gets kind of weird. The Thunderbolts box office run was so disappointing to see it because it was an amazing movie. It was. But good thing is, Marvel is not seeing it as a disappointment. I mean, it's a disappointment, but it's a different kind of disappointment. And my next Marvel video, like my first real video back, is about that. And it's talking about how I think Phase 6 is kind of an investment phase for the MCU rather than purely trying to make money. And Thunderbolts, a little bit of spoiler for the video, but Thunderbolts is prime example because, yeah, the box office was really low for Thunderbolts. However, it was an amazing movie, and almost everyone who has seen it says so. And people are now watching it on digital and saying, wow, I should have seen this in theaters. So they're like, oh, this movie being good, even though it didn't make money, it being good is bringing goodwill back with the audience. And that right now is more important, which is very evident by the fact that they gave the director of Thunderbolts X-Men. Thunderbolts, the movie that did not make a profit in the box office, that director, they're trusting with their X-Men movie. I think that speaks numbers. Speaks volumes. Milo Gibson is MCU Wolverine. I think the MCU Wolverine should be a no-name. Mel Gibson's son. I have not seen him in anything at all, so I cannot give an opinion. Fantastic Four final box office prediction 750 to 850. I think 850 is being optimistic. It's not impossible though. Like I said, with the fact that it doesn't have a lot of competition, it's not impossible that it hits 850. That's what I mean. She's not a hero. It's a tragedy story-wise. She never does anything heroic and ends up giving into a darker side. As in, she's not supposed to be like, well, no, totally. No, you're right. That's what the story is. And that's very interesting that they chose to go down that route. But I think that makes it not as enjoyable. The fact that I'm not rooting in a show where it was a superhero show. Like, we saw her in Black Panther. She's a hero. Like, we like her in Black Panther. And for her to not, I don't think you have a single likable scene in the whole show is kind of odd. I'm seated for Avatar 3. Me too, man. Really excited for that. The entire series of Eyes of Wakanda is coming out this Friday, which makes sense when it's only 4 episodes. Yeah, Yeah, it's releasing this Friday. I'll be watching it, and I will have a stream a week from today, talking about all spoilers and discussion for Eyes of Wakanda. So if you guys want to join that, feel free. I'd love to have you guys there. Another issue is Ironheart is not popular at all. That doesn't matter in terms of quality of the show, and it actually did pretty well in the Nielsen ratings. I think it hit 6 in the Nielsen ratings, which is pretty good. It's not that she's not popular necessarily. She was in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, a movie that a lot of people saw, and people liked her in that. It's not about whether she's popular or not. It's just about whether the show is good or not. And it, like I said, it was good, but nothing more than that. And I think also, yeah, I think part of it for me is that I just was not rooting for the lead. I was genuinely on the side of Alden Ehrenreich's character. Like, I fell for that guy. I was like, damn, poor guy. He was the most likable character in the whole show for me. So when I'm rooting for one of the side characters more than the main character, you know. Honestly, the character I'm most excited about showing up in Doomsday is Loki. Fair. That's valid, man. That's valid. Loki season 2. I wasn't a Loki guy. I didn't care for Loki. I didn't hate Loki. Tom Hiddleston was great. Like, from the very beginning, I was a fan of Tom Hiddleston as Loki. I never cared for Loki. It's like with Iron Man. I don't care for Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. is on the Mount Rushmore of comic book castings for Tony Stark, for sure. Like, that's an amazing casting and performance. I'm just not an Iron Man guy. So it was the same. I wasn't a huge Loki guy. And then, even in season 1, and then Loki season 2 came out, and it's one of the best seasons of television I've seen in recent memory. Loki season 2 is so damn good. And now I'm hyped to see Loki show up in Doomsday. Crazy how just one season of a show can do that. You know, look, I'm excited for it too. For me, I was excited for Cyclops, obviously. Duh. Like, who could have guessed that? Yeah, excited for Cyclops. Most of the X-Men, actually. I'm just a big X-Men fan. Duh. Again, who could have guessed that? Cyclops, Gambit, Nightcrawler. I'm also excited for the Fantastic Four, though. Namor coming back. Thunderbolts, right? I mean, almost every character, but I mean, Loki was hype. But when that chair showed up, yes, I did watch the entire 5-hour live stream. I was on a call with my friends the entire time. Did I cheer? Yeah, I cheered to myself. I don't care. That was hype when Loki showed up. When that theme showed up, dude, when the Loki theme plays in cinemas, like, that's gonna be an out-of-body experience, bro. Hearing the Loki theme, oh, dude, that's gonna be so damn hype. I don't think every character needs their own show. I agree. That doesn't mean if there's a good script or story for a character that they shouldn't make it just because not every character needs their own show. I mean, look at 2 shows recently, Andor and Agatha. 2 shows that people are like, no one asked for these. Andor, phenomenal. Those last 5 episodes of Andor, peak. Agatha, so damn good. And a lot of people really like Ironheart as well. I'm on the lower end of the reception to Ironheart. A lot of people really like that show. Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to the writing. That's all it comes down to. Saw theory on Twitter that Doom takes Franklin to bring Wanda back to life to build a team. Thoughts? I know nothing about his character, so I don't know what type of team he's supposed to be building. Fair enough. I don't think it's that. I've seen that. Franklin is just like one of the most powerful character in all of comics, maybe the most powerful character in all of comics. His power is pretty much anything. Like, he just warps and changes reality, however he wants. Which is why as a baby, he was able to bring back Sue to life. Like, he's like the Dr. Manhattan of Marvel, if you know that. But if not, he's pretty much God. Like, he can just create shit. So I think Doom wants Franklin for that reason. I think Doom wants Franklin to have Franklin create Battleworld. But I also think, and this is going to be its own video as well, so spoiler, you guys are getting little extra tease, little spoilers for this video coming in a couple weeks. But I think Secret Wars ends with Franklin resetting the multiverse, resetting the timeline, and some things will be the same. Some characters will be the same. Some stories will have happened. Some actors will be different, and I think that's going to be the emotional crux of that climax of the movie is all these heroes, like every hero practically ever, Reed Richards, Iron Man, Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson, Doctor Strange, Thor, Sue Storm, like literally every single Cyclops, every single character, right? Doom is going to be incapacitated in some way, or maybe even killed, who knows? Be incapacitated in some way. And all the heroes are like, okay, so what do we do? And there's only one option that they can do. They got to reset everything. But they know the tragedy of it is that resetting everything, they don't know what this new multiverse, this new world is going to look like. Some of them might not be alive anymore. Some of them might look different. You know? Some of them might have different history. Some might be the same. But that's the risk they have to take. It's going to be tragic. It's going to be emotional because not only is it emotional for the characters in the movie having to take that risk, but it's also the final send-off to all these characters we've grown up with our entire lives. And you could make that argument, too, that, well, if they just reset everything, then it makes these 20 years of the MCU mean nothing. No, it doesn't erase it. Because for this new universe to exist, all of those movies still have to have happened. There is no Avengers Secret Wars. There is no reset with Avengers Secret Wars without the 20 years of the MCU and prior to that, right? So it doesn't invalidate or erase those movies from existence. It doesn't make them not mean anything. It arguably makes them mean more. So, long answer, but no, I don't think he's bringing Wanda back. I don't think Doom's making a team. I think he just needs Franklin and wants Franklin to create Battleworld and create his own perfect universe, his own perfect world. Sony's making a live-action Zelda movie with some of the people who were behind Madame Web and Morbius. We all know that movie's going to be a flop. I'm not a Zelda guy. I haven't played any of the Zelda games, so I had no investment in that movie one way or the other. Do you think Sue and Namor will have a moment? I think they'll share the screen. I think they'll interact. I don't think they'll have romance necessarily, but I think they'll interact. Total out-of-body experience. I've already seen so many memes about it. The hype is real. The hype is real, dude. The hype is definitely real. I'm excited to see what Ryan Coogler does next. Well, his next thing, he's working on an X-Files reboot, I think. And he's doing that, and he's also doing Black Panther 3. After that, I don't think we know what he's up to, and he might not either. But I'm also excited to see what he does next. I think it's interesting that Marvel has been using Fortnite, of all things, to familiarize people with their characters, Galactus, Doom, and Mephisto. It's a good point. I think that is interesting. And honestly, kind of smart. Kind of smart to do that. Yeah, that's a good point. And on that note, I think we'll end the stream there. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into this stream. For all you that tuned in today and yesterday, I really do appreciate it. So yeah, I am back. I am back making content. Like I said, I have a video made already, what I'm calling a relaunch video. That it's a 2-minute video of the puppet talking, just kind of explaining that this channel is now a combined Marvel DC channel, and that I'm a puppet. That video will be uploaded one day before my first real video back releases. I don't have a strict... I don't have a concrete day for that yet. That video is a 12-minute long video, 12.5-minute long video. So it's going to take a hot minute to animate, especially since this is my first time really animating this puppet. But as the weeks go on and the months go on, I'll get better and faster at it. But yeah, I'm back. I hope you guys enjoy these future videos. I hope you guys have been enjoying these streams. I hope you guys don't dislike the puppet and the future of this channel. But yeah, guys, like I said, I'll be doing a live stream 1 week from today, regardless of if there's a video this week or not. The goal is for there to be that first video this week, but like I said, with the time, with how long the video is, it might not get done this week. But regardless of when that video gets released, there will be a live stream 1 week from today talking about Eyes of Wakanda. So hopefully I'll see you then, but if not, be safe, have a wonderful week, be kind, be punk rock, and hopefully I will see you next time.